Hey, this morning, this is Charlotte, about 3.5 year old. The sire is Royal, and the dam is Diana. And I've been privileged to work with her. I've done two in a round pen, 2 sessions. They weren't very long. We hooked up a little bit, and we did a couple of things to make her a good citizen right off the bat. And initially, I'll show you what we did just to uh, review it, which I like to do anyhow, is review what I've done in the past. And the round pen today has got a little muddy and it's got some horses in it, so we're going to do it out here in the arena. So what I've done with her in the past is on the first 2 sessions is basically got her to give me some attention. So I look at her and I want attention on me, 2 eyes, and I don't want her coming into my space at this point in time. So I'm teaching her, number one, I'm the boss, focus on me. So if I come here, I want her eyes to follow me with 2 eyes. And then I want her body to follow me too. And it does. And then the other thing I want to do, and I spent about 15, 20 minutes getting to know her a little bit. And in doing so, we got a little bit of communication at this point in time, a little trust. So she knows that I'm here for her and I'm not here to hurt her. And then I like to introduce my tools. So the stick and string, the lead line, and I want them to be an extension of my arm. And that's how I want her to see it as well. So when I rub her with it, it serves to basically let her know that these tools are good, and I rub her with it, and it also serves to keep me at a safe distance from her. She should kick out or go a little cuckoo on me. And then the other thing I did, once I did that, I want to tap her and see if she's got any areas that are very, very sensitive, that she'll kick out at. And if she kicks out at them, I'd rather her kick out at them while I got the stick, I've got some distance, definitely. So I'll take her around this way. And what we do to the left, obviously, we do to the right. Seems like a real good girl. And she's Mandy's full sister, which is kind of cool. But I want her to basically stand still and see if she's got any real areas that might be super soft, super sensitive. And it doesn't appear like she does. She's moving around a little bit, and that's okay. And we'll get better on that. So I don't see any super sensitive areas that she has. So then I introduce her to my stick and string, let her know it's a friendly thing. And once we've done that, then I want her to know that, hey, when we're working, I want you to stay outside of my personal space. And I also want to respect her personal space. So when I go up to her, I want to give the cowboy handshake. And when she touches me, I'll go ahead and come into her space. And she's not listening to me here. So we'll do this. And I'll rub her all over. So at this point in time, we're going to work on space. And so when I ask her to back up, I'm going to do it in phases. The phases is going to be my finger wiggling. Then it's going to be my wrist, then my elbow, then my whole body. And it's phases. And what it is giving her a chance to back up at the lightest phase. And you always use the lightest to what is required. I wouldn't expect it to know, although I did this in session 2 for a bit. So she may know what I'm talking about. So when I go like this and she backs up, that's pretty good. We didn't do it that long in the second session. So as soon as she backed up, even if it's a little bit when we're learning, I'm going to stop and reward her for that. So I'm going to go into her space and reward her. And I'll repeat. And then I'll ask for a couple of steps. If she doesn't give me the couple of steps, I'm going to go wrist, 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 Okay, and she's giving it to me. So then I also want to teach her basic good citizenship exercises and things to do. So when I ask for pressure and she comes, I want to go with the lightest pressure possible. And when she comes and I go into her space, I'm going to say, good girl. Then I'm going to back her up, back, when I want her facing me. I'm going to back her up, back, back. And then where I put her someplace, that's where I want her to stay. So if I back up, I don't want her to come to me unless I ask her to. So her options right now are to let me go into her space and give her some loving, or to ask her to come into my space. And I'll do that by just asking. And then as she comes in, you release. Pressure, release. Remember, when we're doing pressure and release of pressure, that's the way we teach horses. Negative reinforcement. It's pressure is the motivator. The release of pressure is the teacher. Pressure comes on very slowly and releases very quick. So you see she's learning pretty darn quick there. So again, pressure, release of pressure. So when the horse won't move out on you, don't stop pumping that lead line. What you do is you just put a little bit of pressure. And if she doesn't come, you increase the pressure, but keep it steady. When she takes that step, go ahead and release it. And then you repeat, repeat, repeat to the point where she starts coming pretty easily. And then you just release it. And then you ask her to stop, maybe a hands up. And then if she wanted to back up the finger, and she goes back. But she's doing really good for this first day. Okay. The other thing I introduced her to was a little bit of desensitization. And I start a little bit away like this. And I want her to pick up my body language. My body language is saying, don't go anywhere. If I wanted her to go somewhere, I'd bring up my energy in my body. And so I wanted to read my intention. My intention is for her to stand still. And normally what I'm looking for is for her to relax. And if she doesn't relax, then I'm about 30 seconds if she stands still. If she moves, then I'm going to go with her. So right now I'm getting a little bit closer to her, and I'm just swinging, and I'm looking for some sort of relaxation. Now, relaxation in a horse is blinking the eyes, licking the lips, lowering the head, cocking the leg, big sigh. Those are all signs of relaxation. If I don't get one of those in about 20 or 30 seconds, I'll go ahead and say, good girl. Now, what we do to the left, obviously, with the horse, we do to the right. Why do we do that? New horse, new side, new horse. A horse has the left and the right side of the brain. The left side is the thinking side. The right side is the reaction side. But it's also on left and right. They don't have connective tissue like we do. So without the connective tissue, you need to do left side, right side. That's why they say new side, new horse. So what you do to the left, you always do to the right, or what you do to the right, you always do to the left. And see how she's standing still real nice. So I'm going to reward her for that. I'm going to back her up, get her out of my space, and whatever pressure is required. Repeat it the way, same things. Back it up with a finger, and as she goes, release it. Okay, once I get that, then I'm going to go to the body. So I'll take it desensitization from the line, and now I'm going to go to the body. So I'm just going to swing from this, and then I'm going to ask her, stand at a 45 degrees when you're working a horse. Back, back. Stand at 45 degrees. That's the safest place to be. And I'm going to swing it over her back and expect her to just stand still. If she doesn't stand still, I'm going to keep throwing it, letting her know that I want you to stand still. That's my intent. It's like taking a walk in a park. You just relax. And when she stands still like that, give her some love. Let her know that that's what you wanted and that's what you got. Again, and when you do this, it's good to hit the withers, That's a good area for them to take initially. Then work the back and the butt, then the neck, and as you stand still, give her some love. Now this horse, as most of you know, was born and raised here on the Spring Valley farm. And so there's probably been a lot of touching and feeling and working with this little horse that we didn't have to do any halter. I didn't have to do any halter training with her because she was already halter trained. And she's coming right up to me now, which is very nice. Do to the left, do to the right, do to the right, do to the left. So again, 45 degrees where you want to stand. And don't piddle around with them. Throw it on there. Let them know everything's good and everything's safe. Don't want to move it around. If they move, you go with them until they stop and realize that what you want is for them to relax and stand still. So again, you got to be relaxed. So to be a trainer, you need two things: knowledge, what to do, and application, how to do it, and how to read a horse, obviously. Okay, we're looking for those signs of relaxation. If they come, if they don't want you moving. No movie. Okay, and I'll take it away. Okay, the next thing I would do on desensitization is introduce it to the second string. And when you introduce something to a horse, what you want to do is introducing it with approach and retreat. So I'll turn the horse in this direction here. I'm going to put her here. And then I want to approach and retreat. So I want to do this and take it away. Approach and retreat. She's very curious. She's a very laid back horse. So she's going to be pretty cool, I think. Then approach and retreat. So what I'm going to do here is the same thing we did before. So I'm going to do like this. The further out, the better. When you start off, then you bring it in closer and increase it. She moves out, you go with her. She's going to learn to stand still. Okay, just go with her if she moves. But you stand still, take it away. Let her know there's a right answer. And what we do to the left, we do to the right. So right here, I'm going to swing it here. So we're getting sound and movement. Bring it on her back. And I am going to do her legs as well, because I think usually they're more sensitive on their legs. So see how she does. She's doing all right in the front. She's cocked her leg there. So she's a little relaxed. Maybe sometimes a little too relaxed. Good girl. Okay. And she's doing pretty good with that. The next thing I'm going to do, after we do the legs here, is work on the flag. The flag is usually a little bit more pretentious because it's movement and sound, and it's a little bit bigger. So the first thing we're going to do is bring it over here. I'm going to introduce the flag. Come on. Oops. And the way we're going to do that is the first time she sees the flag, and it may not be, but I'm going to assume it is. What we want to do is introduce it with approach and retreat. She sees it, she smells it, and take it away. Approach and retreat. Some people will just bring that flag up and then start swinging it around, and it's just not fair to the horse. You want to introduce it to the horse as one of your tools, and then take it away. One of your tools, and take it away. If the horse overreacts and it just doesn't seem like they're going to calm down, then you want to revert back to your last, maybe the stick and string. And then I'm going to bring it very closely, like this, and then bring it away. Very closely, and bring it away. There's movement here. And then I can also go like this and ask her to come. And I'll show her that, you know, the thing's going to get me before it's going to get you. And so when you teach them, you're just saying, hey, this thing isn't that bad. And if it is bad, it's going to get me first. And then you start to slowly turn around and say, maybe it can get you. And then what you want them to do here is to relax. So I want her just to relax. But if she moves, it doesn't stop. It'll stop when she relaxes. Making sure I'm sending her my intent. My intent is for her to stand still. And it goes away. Bring it back out here. And I'll put it behind me. And we'll turn around this way again. And I'll bring it out. And this way you're introducing it slow. You know, she doesn't know what it is or what we're trying to do. She's got an idea, I guess, but not a big one. And once I start touching her with it, she might get a little upset. I don't know. We'll see. Good girl. Get a little closer. Get it to relax a little bit. Usually they're better on one side than the other. I'm going to let her take off on that one. And it'll go on the other side here. See how she does. Remember, new side, new horse. So she's reacting a little bit differently on this one. And that's fine. And it won't go away until she stops and relaxes. And bring it up. You know. Okay. Very good. So those kinds of the things that we've done to date. The other thing I did with her was to play a little bit with her leg. Rub down her leg. Oops. Get some of these things off her. And asking for her leg to come up. Up, up. Good girl. And for the leg, that's part of being a good citizen. You want them to be good for the farrier. And when I do the leg, I like to rub down, get her attention, rub down, and then I squeeze the chestnut. Some people squeeze the tendon. Most farriers squeeze the tendon. And I'm going to get her this way again. She's starting to move. Now, when you're doing a horse's legs, if they're moving a lot, don't bother with the leg. Work on the movement. Because the movement's what you need. So I'll come down. I'm going to squeeze a little bit here. Up, 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 up. Good girl. Uh-uh. Back, back, back. Okay. Up, Just give me a little resistance here. Remember, you bring it in, soft as necessary, but as required. Get a little bit over there. Back, back, back. Okay. So the things I want to do today to introduce, and I always repeat everything I've taught her at every session. Won't spend a lot of time on it, but I'll repeat everything I'm teaching her. And when I put her somewhere, I want her to stay there. So I'll put her right back to where she was. But the things I want to teach you today is going to be a backup and different ways of backing her up. And I think we covered a significant amount of stuff. She's licking her lips, which means they're thinking, they're absorbing the information. So backup is one of the things that show submission. Back, back, leave a little pressure. Again, the phases, I can't stress phases enough. Phases is starting with the least amount of pressure required, but increasing that pressure as necessary to get one little step of what you need or want initially when you're teaching them. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of pressure, say back, and put a little bit of back pressure on there, increase the pressure. Takes a step, I'm going to release that pressure. And even if they're leaning back, it's the beginning. We'll build from there. Good girl. Good girl. Again, back, 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 back. I'm not going to release. I'm going to increase. Hold it. Takes a step. I give her some love. Okay. And then every time you make a move, you want it to back up, reinforce what you've taught her. Every time you're building on this. And it's a sequence to some extent. And so right now I'm focusing on pretty much being a good citizen. Lifting her feet, which we haven't gotten very far on, but introduced to her. Giving to pressure. Oops, in the poop. Getting tied. All the basics that you want a horse to do. Licking her lips, that's very good. Back her up a little bit. Okay. At that time, I forget to do the finger. I mean, you start wherever you want, but the least amount of pressure. To me, this is the least amount of pressure. Back, back. That's the least amount of pressure. And you can use it, when you're going through a gate or whatever. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to work on the back up a little bit. And so again, I'm going to back her up, like putting a little pressure. Back, back. If she takes a step, I'm going to release. Good girl. Back, back, back. Yes, those 2 steps. Good girl. And if I can get the head to come down at the same time, that's a bonus. That's a plus. Back, back. Good girl. Good girl. So she wants to come into me a little bit, and I'm saying, nah, I don't want you to come into me. Okay. And I'm going to rub her all over with this flag because I want to make sure she's okay with the flag, number one. But I also want to make sure that I can touch her all over with the flag before I go in and touch her with my hand. And that makes sense. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. And so I'm going to rub her all over here. Like this. Good girl. I'm going to rub her here. Make sure she's okay with the flank area on both sides. Okay. And I want to make sure she loves this thing. And I want her to know that Stand still, it goes away. Stand still, it goes away. Good girl. Bring it back up. Ugh. Good girl. Okay. Work on her legs a little bit more. Up, up. Good girl. Not so darn hard. Up, up. Good girl. That's a good girl. Up, up. Good girl. Okay, that's good for this one and this session.